that close to 250,000 jobs would be created for improved gold mining operations.
New chapter in executive legislation. Job creation and economic diversification receive another boost with the launch of a new program by President Muhammadu Buhari.
If you have anything against the chair of this committee, there are many ways you can report your matter.
House of Representatives issues a warrant of arrest on acting managing director of Niger Delta Development Commission and members of interim management committee. On COVID-19, senior citizens above 60 charged to stay at home and avoid social interactions. Hello, good evening to you and welcome to NTA Network News. We are reaching you live in Abuja. I'm Joseph Johnson, but I'm not alone tonight. Ingenu John Adams will be doing this with me from Lagos Network Center. Now, burning issues affecting Nigeria's national development aspirations and the best way forward towards achieving the next level agenda were thoroughly analyzed as President Muhammadu Buhari received in audience presiding officers of the National Assembly. State House correspondent Adamu Samba reports that President Muhammadu Buhari re-emphasized his utmost respect for the National Assembly, stating that any disrespect to the institution by any member of the executive branch will not be tolerated.
Coronavirus pandemic notwithstanding, it has been continuous engagement between President Muhammadu Buhari, Senate President Ahmed Lawan and Speaker Femi Bajabiamila. The latest, which lasted more than 1 hour behind closed doors, was to compare notes on the state of the nation in furtherance of their genuine commitment towards achieving a greater Nigeria, as explained by Senate President Ahmed Lawan.
I imagine that at the end of the day, the trajectory of ensuring a very good and purposeful operational way of doing things between the two arms will continue. Mr. President has always respected the legislature. He has always commended the National Assembly members for always been there to ensure that the requests by the executive in the national interest are processed. And we are sure that every member of the National Assembly has always been there to ensure that we do the right thing for this country. And Mr. President is in full support of our position that this relationship must be sustained at all times for the benefit of the people of Nigeria.
Senate President Ahmed Lawan could not, however, confirm whether or not the raging controversy between the executive and the legislature over the planned recruitment of 774,000 job seekers by the federal government was discussed at the meeting.
If you are an appointee of the president, you are supposed to be reflective of the attitude of the president towards the National Assembly. And the National Assembly will continue to work with Mr. President, but the National Assembly will take exception to any attitude or disposition that is not in support of the harmony in the relationship between the two arms of government.
He said the 9th National Assembly is committed to sustaining the existing cordiality with the executive in the best interests of Nigeria. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
Well, it's pertinent to re-emphasize the fact that, still talking about that report, that in the course of their conversation, recent events at the National Assembly were highlighted. Mr. President re-emphasized his utmost respect for the National Assembly, and any disrespect to the institution by any member of the executive branch will not be accepted. Ministers and all operatives of the executive arms of government should at all times conduct themselves in ways that will not undermine the National Assembly as an institution. Its leadership and members, the President and the leaders of the National Assembly recognized and acknowledged that the executive and legislative arms of government are essential partners in the fulfillment of their mutually aligned goal of improving the lives of the Nigerian people. A momentous milestone has been achieved in the Buhari administration's efforts at job creation and economic diversification with the launch of an unprecedented gold purchase program. The ceremony, performed virtually by President Muhammadu Buhari as part of the presidential Artisanal Gold Mining Development Initiative, is designed to put a stop to illegal mining in Nigeria, standardize the activity and mobilize the enormously untapped resource potentials in the sector. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo again reports.
At the event attended by governors of some gold-producing states and witnessed online by other critical stakeholders, President Muhammadu Buhari symbolically presented 12.5 kilograms of locally mined high-quality gold bar valued at over 268 million naira to the Central Bank of Nigeria on behalf of the nation's artisanal miners. Records show that Nigeria has an estimated gold reserves of over 200 million ounces, most of which yet to be exploited. The Presidential Artisanal Gold Mining Development Initiative, launched in 2019, is part of efforts at developing sustainable programs that will catalyze increased investment in the extraction and refining of gold sourced from mine fields in Nigeria, which President Buhari described as vital.
The Presidential Artisanal Gold Mining Development Initiative will enable the deployment of financing schemes that will help miners improve on the quality of mining operations. Furthermore, efforts are being made to support artisanal miners in improving the standard of the gold that will be sold to the central bank in order to ensure that they meet international benchmarks.
With Nigeria estimated to have lost close to $3 billion between 2012 to 2018 alone due to illegal smuggling of gold, the Central Bank of Nigeria's gold buying program will not only inject sanity but also ensure that artisanal miners are no longer subjected to the volatility in gold prices that occurs in the absence of credible off-takers.
We expect that close to 250,000 jobs would be created for improved gold mining operations. Improved mining operation could lead to the generation of over $500 million United States dollars annually in royalties and taxes. These developments will also help in improving our foreign reserves by enabling the Central Bank of Nigeria to increase the amount of gold in its reserves.
And given the expected gains from increased gold mining operations to the Nigerian economy, the Buhari presidency is reassuring the nation that the government will continue to do its very best towards promoting policies and programs that will engender economic growth and job creation.
Presently, we had to take this gold that's been aggregated out of the country for refinement. The ministry has licensed 2 private sector participators in gold refinery.
For those who feel that the only way they analyze Nigeria is to say, oh, what is the price of crude? They will now begin to see that at this time, when the price of crude is low and the price of gold is rising, that the Nigerian economy remains strong, Nigerian economy remains resilient to withstand the exogenous shock that we see around us today.
And I believe this is an initiative that will see us do more individually and collectively to boost gold production.
I would say it's not yet mission accomplished, but with its vision established, we know where we're going, and we have started the journey, and we're going at a very fast speed, and I hope that this will translate into a better life.
The contributions of the mining subsector to the economy rose from 0.03% in 2012 to 0.8% at the moment due to the financial intervention by the Buhari administration. And with the Artisanal Gold Mining Development Initiative, Nigeria's economic well-being can only be enhanced. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
In the meantime, President Muhammadu Buhari has given directives for better coordination among security and investigating agencies with the National Assembly to ensure that the administration's effort to bring sanity, transparency and accountability to the management of the large amount of resources dedicated to development of the Niger Delta sub-region is not derailed. Elizabeth Omori has details of the President's directives.
His reaction to the unfolding drama, which include attacks and counterattacks between and around persons, institutions, and the Niger Delta Development Commission, President Muhammadu Buhari expressed a strong determination to get to the root of the problem, undermining the development of the Niger Delta and its people, in spite of enormous national resources voted year after year for this singular purpose. According to the directive, auditing firms and investigative agencies working in collaboration with the National Assembly committees to resolve the challenges in the NDDC must initiate actions in a time-bound manner and duly inform the presidency on the actions being taken. The President also directed timely sharing of information and knowledge in a way to speedily assist the administration to diagnose what had gone wrong in the past and what needs to be done to make corrections in order to return the NDDC to its original mandate of making life better for the people in the Niger Delta and, by extension, bring rapid, even and sustainable development to the region. The Nigerian leader gave firm assurance that his administration would put a transparent and accountable governance framework not only in the NDDC but in all other institutions of government. In Abuja, Elizabeth Omori, NTA News.
The House of Representatives has issued a warrant of arrest on the acting managing director of Niger Delta Development Commission NDDC, Professor Daniel Ponde, and members of the Interim Management Committee. This is in response to his walking out on the investigative hearing by the House Committee on NDDC. The committee is investigating allegations of financial malfeasance of the NDDC. Minutes into the commencement of the hearing, the acting managing director staged a walkout.
We are not comfortable with the chairman of this committee presiding over a matter in which he is an accused party.
If you have anything against the chairman of this committee, there are many ways you can report your matter. You either go to EFCC or ICPC or police, SSS, go to them, complain whatever you want to complain against the chairman, but the rules of the parliament, nobody will come and dictate to us here that the chairman cannot sit, because this is not the matter in question. This is not the matter before us now.
Meanwhile, armed policemen numbering over 15 attempted to arrest the immediate past acting managing director of the Interim Management Committee of the NDDC, Joy Nunez, without a warrant of arrest. Ogedin Ekwere reports.
The former NDDC boss, Joy Nunez, said that armed policemen besieged her private residence at 4 a.m. seeking her arrest without a warrant.
Opened the door, they wanted to grab me. I now pushed back the door and locked it and went upstairs, got through to my governor. They tried to break the back door. It's a security door, so they kept hitting it for over 1 hour and they couldn't get access. So my governor came, asked them for the warrant of arrest, and why couldn't they invite me to the police, that I would have come instead of going to take a woman like a criminal. So the governor took me in his car, and here I'm refugee in the government house.
The former NDDC boss says she suspects that the alleged illegal arrest might be associated with her proposed appearance at the House of Representatives. In Port Harcourt, Ogedin Ekwere, NTA News.
Vice President Yemi Osinbajo has described micro, small and medium enterprises operators in Nigeria as champions working to keep the economy afloat, and reiterates the federal government's determination in the support of businesses in the country. This was during the 3rd Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises Awards held virtually. State House correspondent Jide Nifade reports.
Since the inception of the awards program in 2018, thousands of micro, small and medium enterprises operators have been participating. At the first two editions of the award ceremony, many of them went home with cash and other gift items that would help them advance in their chosen business areas. MDAs, states and organizations equally received recognition for their cooperation and support for micro, small and medium enterprises to thrive, and also in improving World Bank rating of the country. Same goes for the third edition of the MSME Awards, and Vice President Yemi Osinbajo commends organizers for keeping the dream alive.
And we as a government owe it to you and all of you who are attending this virtual event and the tens of millions of others nationwide to create an enabling environment for you to thrive. This is President Muhammadu Buhari's commitment to all of the millions of MSMEs in Nigeria, that we will continue to stand by you, to support you, and to create opportunities for you to grow and prosper.
For the nation, Minister of State for Industry, Trade and Investment, Mariam Katagum, says the future is bright as all participants rely on local materials for production.
We are improving on our policies. We are improving on the ease of doing business. We're also improving on access to credit and creating space.
We are confident that this will go on to spur a lot more MSMEs to even do better than they are doing right now.
The support for local businesses is one key area of the government's economic sustainability plan in response to COVID-19, and which the Buhari administration says it's committed to. In the State House, Jide Onifade, NJ News.
President Muhammadu Buhari has described as an highly beneficial and worthy of sustenance the strong bonds of friendship between Nigeria and Pakistan, characterized by extensive military-to-military engagement. This was at the virtual farewell meeting with the outgoing Pakistani High Commissioner to Nigeria. State House correspondent Adam Musambo has more.
Good afternoon, Mr. President.
President Muhammadu Buhari described Nigeria-Pakistani relationship as not only wide but far-reaching. He singled out the area of military cooperation between the two countries, describing it as mutually beneficial. He particularly appreciated the Pakistani military training of the Nigerian army. The president commended the outgoing envoy for strengthening the relations in the area of economic cooperation. Ambassador King Ravi had thanked President Buhari and indeed Nigerians for what he called the fruitful, enjoyable and educative tour of Nigeria. He pledged his country's willingness to provide further military support to combat insurgency as well as promote all other causes dear to the country. From the State House, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
The United Kingdom High Court has reserved judgment on the P&ID case brought before it by the Nigerian government seeking to set aside the enforcement of $9.6 billion arbitration awarded against it in favor of Process and Industrial Developments, that's P&ID Limited, a briefcase company registered in British Virgin Islands. Nigeria's lawyer Mark Howard had made a case of fraud and described the deal as a sham from the outset. He said the gas supply purchase agreement under which P&ID was to build gas processing facilities in Cross River State and that the government was to supply wet gas up to 400 million standard cubic feet per day that will be processed to generate electricity. He asserted that the deal was a grand scheme conceived by an Irish businessman working with top government officials to defraud the country. Howard also alleged that Nigeria had previously uncovered unknown payments to Vera Tega, a daughter of Director of Legal Services at the Petroleum Ministry, Mrs. Grace Tega. The Senate says the new management of the Federal Inland Revenue Service is bracing with reforms needed to expand Nigeria's revenue base. President of the Senate Ahmad Lawan gave the commendation during the passage of the service's 2020 budget of 168 billion naira. National Assembly correspondent Ignatius Nkwo reports.
The passage of the 2020 budget of the Federal Inland Revenue Service was accompanied by the approval of 100 billion naira one-off special intervention fund to assist the Federal Inland Revenue Service to, among other projects, complete its head office within 12 months and 6 training schools.
Henceforth, the budget of FIRS for any financial year must be approved by the Senate by the end of October of the preceding year. This is to ensure strict compliance with the January to December financial year. Consequently, all below-the-line accounts accruing to the service in this year must be approved by the National Assembly.
The observation of the Senate Committee on Finance that the management of the current Federal Inland Revenue Service is making giant strides in innovation was applauded by the Parliament.
The new executive chairman, upon assumption of duties, has been able to come up with various initiatives to block the leakages that hitherto existed within the system.
I think that the FIRS under the new leadership is a focused leadership and a level-headed leadership.
When you look at the gas income projection, last year nothing was realized, but this year, I mean, he is saying he will be able to make about 420-something billion this year. So I think it's a tall order, but I think he will be able to make it.
And I also want to commend the new management of the Federal Inland Revenue Service for the efforts they are making to reform the service for better, effective and more efficient performance.
The Senate recommended the digitization of all processes in the administration tracks in Federal Inland Revenue Service. From the National Assembly, Ignatius Nkwo, NTA News.
And the House of Representatives is concerned that the slow pace of work on the Lagos, Ibadan, Abuja, Kano and Second Niger Bridge projects may affect the wish of President Buhari to commission them before the end of his tenure. This is despite the release of 200 billion naira to the contractor. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports.
At the investigative hearing on the 3 major road projects by the House Committee on Works, House members expressed worry that the pace of work by the contracting firm handling these key projects shows that it lacks the capacity to deliver.
We have tons of petitions from Nigerians declaring slow pace of work on Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, Second Niger Bridge and Abuja-Kaduna-Zaria-Kano roads. Nigerians are paying with their blood, time and resources.
It suggested that other contracting firms should be involved in the execution to fast-track completion. The committee alleged that procurement process was not adhered to in the award of the contract and directed the contracting firm and the Bureau for Public Procurement to furnish it with documents to that effect.
All the questions that they've asked the MD of Julius Baja here, he had been evasive in his answering of this question.
Meanwhile, House Committee on Commerce has met with the Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment towards addressing challenges in the sector.
For the concern in the unending influx of fake, substandard and counterfeit products in Nigeria, it's become like a second nature.
Let us improve our system and make it tangible. Right now we have things to sell and show people. By the time we do that, we'll be overwhelmed with people coming to either update their registration or those that have not done, and I assure you revenue will continue to flow.
Laws concerning trade agreements, the committee says, will be updated in line with federal government's policy of ease of doing business. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
You're watching the news at 9 on the network service of the NTA. We are back shortly. Stay with us.
Stay Home Data Plan. All existing Glow customers now enjoy up to 20% more data. Dial *777# to choose a plan. Glow Unlimited.
The Steering Committee for Nigeria Digital Identity Development and Ecosystem Project hereby invites all members to its meeting scheduled as follows. Date, Friday, 17th of July 2020. Time, 10 a.m. prompt. Venue, Conference Room, Office of the Secretary of the Government of the Federation. Chairman of the Committee, Mr. Boss Mustafa. Secretary to the Government of the Federation. Alternate Chairman, Honorable Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning. Other members are Honorable Minister of Justice and Attorney General of the Federation. Honorable Minister of Education. Honorable Minister of Interior. Honorable Minister of Health. Honorable Minister of Communication and Digital Economy. Honorable Minister, Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, National Security Advisor, Governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Chairman, National Population Commission, DG National Orientation Agency. From the private sector, Dr. Joe Abba, Country Director, Development Alternatives Incorporated, Malam Awal Musa, Rafsanjani, Executive Director, Supporting Civil Society Legislative Advocacy Center, and Director General, National Identity Management Commission, Member and Secretary, all to be seated by 9:45 a.m. Announcer, National Identity Management Commission.
Want access to all your favorite local and international shows wherever you go? Here's how. Head to showmax.com and click Try for free for 14 days. Enter your email and create password. Choose your plan and payment method that suits you and start watching. You just opened up a whole new world of non-stop entertainment. Stream online or download the Showmax app to watch on your mobile or tablet, anywhere, anytime. Visit showmax.com now.
We have observed the lockdown. We have practiced the measures in order to curb the spread of the virus, but we can do better. The coronavirus spread is increasing daily, and only together can we cut down the numbers and defeat the spread of the virus. Remember, COVID-19 is not a death sentence, and a recovered patient cannot spread the disease. Do not stigmatize. Do not hesitate to report any case or if you have come in contact with anybody that has been infected with COVID-19. If you have cough and fever, please stay at home and call your state hotline. Find state numbers at www.covid19.ncdc.gov.ng. Remember, it is for your own good and for the good of every Nigerian. Let us do better and defeat the virus. Together, we can do this. This message is brought to you by the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, Africa's largest television network.
Shegun. Alpha, say tomorrow still day on.
What's your tomorrow?
Community meeting now.
You know they here, Abi?
Now beg you. See, if we meet for my house, inside parlor, then go no.
This COVID-19 is not a child's play. Do one for WhatsApp, or for Skype, or even on Zoom. Or we just wait.
I will not
negotiate this social distancing. It is not negotiable.
Not every infected person shows symptoms, but every infected person is contagious. Avoid large gatherings and self-isolate if you think you might have come in contact with a carrier. Your safety and the safety of others is in your hands.
This message is from the Akinfade Foundation in partnership with the National Orientation Agency with support from MacArthur Foundation.
You're still watching NTA Network News with me, Joseph Johnson, in Abuja. All Progressives Congress has constituted the Ondo State Governorship primary election and primary appeal committees. In a statement by the party's Deputy National Publicity Secretary, Yekini Nabena, Governor of Kogi State, Yahaya Bello, is the chairman of the 9-member primary election committee, and Oloriogun Otega Emeho is to serve as secretary. Emperor Baywood Ibe is the chairman of the 9-member primary election appeal committee, with Abdul Mumini Okara to serve as the secretary. The statement added that both committees will be inaugurated by the chairman, caretaker, and extraordinary National Convention Planning Committee, Mai Malabuni, at the party's national secretariat by 3 p.m. on Friday, 17th July 2020. Borno State government, in collaboration with Bank of Industry, has commenced the disbursement of 1 billion naira interest-free loan to 15,860 small and medium-scale traders in Maiduguri Metropolitan Council and Jere local government area. Governor Babagana Umar Zulum flagged off the disbursement to members of 12 business association at a ceremony held in Government House, Maiduguri. Mohammed Goni reports.
The interest-free loan is payable in 4 years with moratorium period of 6 months, within which business are expected to pick up and generate profit.
The government, in its commitment to empowerment of women and youth, is presently in a high-level talks with the Central Bank of Nigeria, the World Bank, African Development Bank, and Islamic Development Bank to create more window of opportunities to small and medium-scale entrepreneurs to empower them in line with the global best practice for the overall benefit of our people in both urban and rural areas.
The governor told beneficiaries of the loan that anyone who is able to pay back within the stipulated period will enjoy 50% waiver and will automatically qualify for another loan. Representative of the Managing Director of the Bank of Industry, Maina Mohammed, who lauded the partnership between the bank and Borno State government, further enjoined the beneficiaries to make judicious use of the loan. Commissioner for Trade and Investment Yerima Lawan Kareto said that disbursement was a welcome development, considering the retrogression in the economic sector occasioned by the security challenges. APC State Chairman Ali Bukar Dalori said the interest-free loan will boost the capital base of the traders and improve their sources of income. Speaking on behalf of the beneficiaries, Professor Mustapha Kokori appreciated the state government for the gesture and appealed for more support to less privileged and victims of insurgency. In Maiduguri, Mohammed Goni, NTA News.
The Nigeria Labour Congress NLC and the United Labour Congress, led by Joe Ajaero, have reintegrated to form a united labour movement. President of NLC Ayuba Waba disclosed this while briefing journalists at the end of a joint session meeting by the two leaders of the unions in Abuja on Thursday. Ayuba Waba told journalists that following the reconciliation, the leadership of the United Labour Congress has been reintegrated into the Nigeria Labour Congress. The United Labour Congress broke away from NLC in 2015 during the delegates' conference to elect new leadership of NLC. Let's talk coronavirus now. The Presidential Task Force on COVID-19 has revealed that 63% of hand sanitizers in circulation in the nation's capital do not have NAFDAC registration number. Chairman of the task force, Boss Mustafa, has therefore advised Nigerians to be circumspect and avoid purchasing substandard products. Tariq Ben reports on Thursday's briefing by the PTF in Abuja.
One of the non-pharmaceutical measures recommended by the PTF to contain the spread of COVID-19 in line with global practice is the use of hand sanitizers.
Ordinarily, that ought to stimulate local production because of increased demand. However, we regret to inform you that following a survey conducted by the Nigeria Institute for Pharmaceutical Research and Development, NIPRID, 63% of alcohol-based sanitizers in Abuja do not have NAFDAC registration numbers. The Presidential Task Force appeals to the patriotic spirit of Nigerians and requests that they should desist from manufacturing substandard goods which could further endanger our unsuspecting Nigerians who innocently purchase them.
With fatality rate of COVID-19 in Nigeria put at 2.1% so far, senior citizens remain at high risk of contracting the virus.
And we also know that younger people have died. Here in Abuja, the youngest person to die from COVID was just 38 years old. So we are all at risk.
COVID-19 must not be trivialized. All citizens must care for themselves, their families, and each other.
Last week I mentioned that we've been working
new platform through which people will be able to check their results themselves, actually. And that platform is nearly ready.
We'll also be looking at what other policies or framework can be put in place as far as coronavirus is concerned and the contamination of the air we breathe.
Following the resumption of domestic flights, violation of laid-down protocols by some VIPs has not escaped the notice of the Presidential Task Force.
If you are found to be an unruly passenger because you are a big man, VIP, the simplest that we could do, the easiest, simplest thing that we could do is to refer you to the police, and they must, by law, prosecute you regardless, and it will be not less than 2 months. And I'm sure you wouldn't want to be a criminal for one day.
State governments are encouraged to recruit more health professionals to boost their response to the pandemic. In Abuja, Mitaire Ikben, NTA News.
Meanwhile, safety of lives on Nigerian roads remains paramount to the Federal Road Safety Corps, despite the lifting of ban on interstate travels by the federal government. This informed the decision of the Corps to organize a virtual conference for members of transport service unions on the Zone 12 to brainstorm on ways to avoid spread of COVID-19 with the lifting of the ban on interstate movements. Mariamu Abala reports.
Saddled with the responsibility of ensuring safety on Nigerian roads, the Federal Road Safety Corps is enlightening transport unions on safety guides they are expected to adhere to while transporting passengers to different parts of the country. Zonal Commanding Officer, FRSC Zone 12, Assistant Corps Marshal Umar Ibrahim, and Sector Commander FRSC Bauchi, Yusuf Abdullahi, say the interaction is necessary considering the lift of the interstate travel ban.
We need to protect our citizenry, we need to protect the commuters and everybody that is connected with transport operations.
We are quite sure that the directives on COVID-19, social distancing, using of face masks, washing of hands will definitely be adhered to by all our motor parks through their ESCO members whom we have their feelings today.
Some of the transport union officials who applauds the call for deliberating with them on how to operate amidst COVID-19, promise to disseminate the information for the safety of all travelers. In Bauchi, Maria Mubala, NTA News.
The Niger State government has taken delivery of drugs and hospital consumables donated by a wife of the president, Mrs. Aisha Buhari, through her pet project, Future Assured. Rotkan Dimka reports on the official presentation of the items at the Mina General Hospital.
The foundation has been intervening in the health and education sectors, rendering assistance to the less privileged. This time around, the foundation is presenting drugs and hospital consumables for children of ages 0 to 12. These medications are to be dispensed to those in need of them at no cost at all. The special advisor to the president on domestic and social events, Mrs. Zainab Kasim, presented the items donated to the state government. Wife of Niger State Governor Dr. Amina Abubakar Bello, represented by wife of the secretary to the state government, Hadiza Mohamed Shiru, receiving the items on behalf of the state government, described the gesture as remarkable.
The gesture will go a long way in assisting indigent families, especially in this period of pandemic, where a lot of families have been thrown into shock.
In Mina, Rotkan Dimka, NTA News.
The cordial relationship between the Anambra State government and NTA Oka received a boost with the donation of a 300 kVA transformer to the station by the state government. Ndem Kalu has details.
Handing over the 300 kVA transformer to the management of NTA Oka, Commissioner for Public Utilities, Emeka Ezewanne, stated that the donation is part of the state government contribution towards enhancing transmission at the station. He gave assurance that the state government will continue to support the station as it is the avenue through which network news and programs are disseminated to the people of the state.
His Excellency has delivered almost 710 units of this transformer to different communities and organizations in the state. I congratulate the NTF family for benefiting from this beautiful gift from His Excellency.
Receiving the donation, Director General, Nigerian Television Authority, represented by the General Manager, NTA Channel 5 Oka, Olaide Ajala, commended Governor Willie Obiano for his kind gesture towards NTA, noting that the state government has a cordial working relationship with the station, promising that NTA will continue to project the state as the light of the nation.
On behalf of our Director General, really wish to express our gratitude to the state government. Without the transformer, we cannot be connected to the national grid. So we are indeed very, very grateful.
To help us to be transmitting more hours to the people of Anambra.
With the transformer, NTA Channel 5 Oka will be reconnected back to the national grid, having been fraught with incessant vandalization of the station's light gadgets in recent times. From Enugu, Ndem Kalo, NTA News.
Engino in our Lagos Network Center will bring us the next set of reports now. Engino.
Thank you, Joseph. The maritime industry is capitalizing on interagency synergy as a means of improving service delivery for seamless operations, enhance security within the anchorage areas, and boost the sector's contribution to the nation's GDP. Michael Olale reports.
The fight against the COVID-19 pandemic is basically not a health issue alone, but it is about the survival of the human race, and a battle which can only be won through the weaponry of synergy. This synergy is what the maritime community is promising to exhibit henceforth at achieving cost-effective port system under conducive atmosphere.
Some of our areas of concern had been the security in the Gulf of Guinea, and our enhanced collaboration around the fact that all our secure anchorage areas will be accommodated within the Deep Blue project is one of the, I think, first areas of success that we've achieved in terms of our improved collaborations.
Part of the resolutions at this meeting is the automation of 98% of port operations in order to remove the bottleneck associated with human interface and drive global competitiveness.
There are laws that, or international conventions that we must domesticate. They will go to the issue of cost and the ease of doing business. And we are going to set up a strong legal committee to make sure that the National Assembly will, domesticate these conventions.
The floating dock that arrived in Nigeria for over a year now, we agreed with NPA MD that by the end of July, we should be able to move that floating dock and put it into use. And that will generate employment for not less than 350 with enormous revenue for the federal government.
The interest of this forum is to harness the advantages of mutual understanding for national developments. In Lagos, Michael Olale, NTA News.
Away from maritime now. As part of measures to cushion the economic effects of COVID-19 partial lockdown on economically vulnerable families, the Nigerian Armed Forces Resettlement Center Officers' Wives Association has distributed palliatives to widows, orphans, and the less privileged. Coordinator of the association, Shaitala, disclosed that the initiative is aimed at giving recipients a sense of belonging. Imole Aitokide reports.
17-year-old Prince Adam is a beneficiary. He lost his parents more than 5 years ago, leaving him and his brother to fend for themselves.
We have been living with our aunt and our grandma, and unfortunately they don't have that much to sponsor, so we have been coping. We do hustle, but not that much.
Justina Noah, a mother of 3, became impoverished after her husband died in the line of duty in Benue State early this year, turning out to sole provider for her children.
To be sincere, we, being a widow, you have nobody to look up to apart from God. And God used them to bless us. Like the palliative that they are giving to us today, it will go a long way to help each and every one of us.
These two are part of the more than 200 orphans and widows who benefited from the food and cash distributed to some members of the community by Nafrikoa.
Now it's even very, very difficult for those working to feed. Some are not even working as we speak. So I just feel it will be better to give out some food items to cushion their stress.
The association urged beneficiaries to comply with the COVID-19 safety guidelines as directed by the federal government in the fight against the virus. In Lagos, Imole Ayotokide, NTA News.
We now take a break. Network news continues shortly.
I dey talk to you plenty now because I get glue too. That make me dey talk. Please, I be not be so. All right. Don't be say I won't talk plenty. Una no self say I no dey lie. You see this glow? If you get them, una no go even una go just dey talk they go because it's not there.
Enjoy international calls from as low as 40 kobo per second from Nigeria to the world. Call your loved ones today.
Thank you, my sister. You do well, eh?
Glow Unlimited.
Win a Samsung home makeover worth 1.5 million naira weekly. Wow! In the Samsung Smile Nigeria promo, daily prizes of Samsung TVs, refrigerators, smart wristwatches, and other exciting prizes also to be won. Buy any of the Samsung smartphones or electronics to stand a chance to win. Promo runs from July 15th to August 5th, 2020. Hurry now while stocks last. Terms and conditions apply.
We don't wait tire. Now it don't shell. Oh, see as they go to the left, to the right. The defender stand up for ground. Go fight to conquer. Plenty things full ground for you. It's not the sweepers like this. Oh, no feeling be like this at all. Conquer excitement inside football action. Live sports for GoTV. Enjoyment nothing sweet past to watch. Connect live action for La Liga, Serie A, Premier League, and WWE. As the hot, it don't settle. Get GoTV today for 9,200 naira. Where they come with 1 month GoTV Max subscription to enjoy correct sports with the super sports. GoTV. Live it, love it.
Nigerians, let us take responsibility. Stay healthy, stay safe, and curb the spread of the virus. Take responsibility. The coronavirus spreads from one person to another. Let us avoid crowd gathering of any kind for any reason. Take responsibility. Avoid traveling from one state to another during these lockdown restrictions. Obey all the rules that are put in place. Take responsibility. Stop spreading fake news and unverified reports about the coronavirus. There is no known cure for COVID-19. Take responsibility. Observe all the measures that can help stop the spread of the virus. Together, we can do this, but only if we take responsibility. This message is brought to you by the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, Africa's largest television network.
This is NTA Network News, and we are back in Abuja. The Nigerian military has reacted to speculations about the discharge of more than 300 personnel of the Nigerian Army as the Air Task Force of Operation Lafiya-Dole neutralizes calls of terrorists at Nguri, Ghana in Borno State. Defense correspondent Naja'atu Tijani reports.
An analysis of ongoing military operations across the country shows progress in the various theaters of command, as indicated by the Directorate of Defense Media Operations.
South-South Zone. In the South-South Zone of the country, the land and maritime components of Operation Delta Safe have recorded tremendous successes within the period under review. Troops of 3 battalions arrested 7 suspected sea pirates at Snake Creek in Warri Southwest local government area of Delta State. Meanwhile, in Operation Safe Corridor, 602 repentant Boko Haram members swore oath of allegiance to the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The ex-insurgents who have completed the radicalization, rehabilitation, and reintegration program at Malam Sidi Camp in Gombe.
The DMO also made clarification concerning the alleged disinterest of about 356 soldiers.
It is a routine exercise and it will not stop. Just like the Bible says, seed time and harvest time will not cease as long as there's life. Entering the army and disengaging or leaving will not stop, whatever people say.
He further explained that the soldiers ranked Master Warrant Officer and Warrant Officer were due for retirement. The Chief of the Army Staff had already approved commencement of their vocational training, as is the custom for those due for retirement. Meanwhile, the Air Task Force of Operation Laifia Adole has destroyed a Boko Haram camp, neutralizing scores of fighters in airstrikes at Nguri, Ghana in Borno State, following confirmation of a large number of their fighters in the settlement who were seen slinging rifles. The airstrikes which followed led to the destruction of several structures, including the communication centers, as well as the neutralization of several terrorists. The Defense Headquarters and Chief of the Air Staff have commended the Air Task Force for their professionalism. Naja'at Tijani, NTA News.
President Muhammadu Buhari has approved the composing of Board of the Nigerian National Merit Award, a release by the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Special Duties and Intergovernmental Affairs, indicates that while 4 members were reappointed, 2 are new appointees, effective from the 1st of May 2020 for a period of 3 years. The board members are selected from the 6 geopolitical zones of the country. Let's just pause here for some messages. Stay with us.
The number of the COVID-19 cases in Nigeria is increasing daily, with many more tests ongoing. The battle of testing, isolating, treating, and attending to the affected persons rests heavily on the shoulders of our health workers, constantly putting their lives on the line and at risk to contain this virus, save and protect the lives of millions of Nigerians. To these health workers, we at the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, on behalf of millions of Nigerians, say a big thank you for all that you have done and are doing. To the security agencies enforcing the lockdown and every other frontliner, we say thank you for putting your lives on the line to save ours. There is no amount of words that can quantify our gratitude. Thank you. This message is brought to you by the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, Africa's largest television network.
And to sports now, COVID-19 continues to affect global sports. Tamara Abuja brings us more sports update.
The Nigeria Archery Federation is working towards a hitch-free return to competitive activities following a possible return of individual and non-contact sports, as stipulated by the Ministry of Youth and Sports Development amid COVID-19 pandemic.
Most of the federations are on top of the game before the lockdown. So I don't think it would be strange for any federation to, like, if they say resume today, we will not be ready. All we're asking for is, the enabling environment has to be there. Facilities that are required, equipment that are required to ensure that we adhere strictly to the rules, of the COVID-19 preventive measures that we need to take.
Meanwhile, the International Committee of Sports for the Deaf, ICSD, has postponed all its 2020 games to 2021 and 2022 due to COVID-19 concerns. More than 14 events are affected, including the World Deaf Athletics Championships, World Deaf Beach Volleyball Championships, World Deaf Football Championships, World Deaf Golf Championships, World Deaf Judo Championships, as well as World Deaf Taekwondo Championships. ICSD assures member associations on staging the affected events in the new rescheduled dates between 2021 and 2022. Tamara Ebiwe, NTA News.
President Muhammadu Buhari commiserates with the Minister of Police Affairs, Maigari Dengiadi, over the death of his brother Abubakar Umaru, the Baraden Kaura in Bodinga local government area of Sokoto State. In a condolence message, President Buhari said he received with deep sadness the news of the minister's brother's demise. Alhaji Abubakar Umaru, the district head of Gwazo, President Buhari said the minister grieved over the death of his junior brother. His heart and prayers go out to him and other members of the family at this difficult moment of coming to terms with the loss of someone so dear. The president prayed Allah to forgive the soul of the deceased and reward his good deeds with paradise. And that's NTA Network News tonight. Thanks for watching. I'm Joseph Johnson. Good night.
NTA News Online, or visit www.nta.ng.